Welcome to This Explainer. If you've ever felt, totally overwhelmed by tedious calorie counting apps, weighing every single ounce of your food, and still feeling frustrated by the lack of results, well, you're in exactly the right place. Today, we're demystifying weight loss and metabolism. We're going to break down the exact code your body uses to process food, and we'll explore an incredibly simple visual way to build a healthy plate literally anywhere you go. So let's just dive right in. Now, I want you to consider this kind of fascinating question. Why on earth does a tiny little spoon of oil pack the exact same caloric punch as a massive, overflowing plate of veggies and lean meat? I mean, it sounds almost completely unfair, right? But understanding the answer to this is absolutely crucial. It's the key to breaking the illusion that all food volume is created equal. It all comes down to the calorie density trap. Look at this. On one side, we have just 10 grams of olive oil. That's barely a tablespoon. It contains roughly 100 calories. But here's the kicker. If you eat that, your stomach literally won't even register it. You're going to be just as hungry as you were before. But on the other side, for those exact same 100 calories, you could have a highly filling, volume-heavy serving of lean protein and green vegetables. One leaves you starving, the other actually leaves you satisfied. It's a real game changer. So here's our roadmap for this explainer. First, we'll look at the calorie density trap. Second, the protein and fiber advantage. Third, how digestion burns calories, the thermic effect. And finally, the hand portion method. All right, section 1, the calorie density trap. Not all grams are equal.
Take a look at the number 9. Every single gram of dietary fat you consume contains 9 calories. 9. That is incredibly calorie dense. And this right here is exactly why foods like oils, butter, and nuts give you massive amounts of calories in these tiny, visually deceiving amounts. You might be sitting there thinking, hey, I barely ate anything. But because of that number 9, your caloric intake is absolutely skyrocketing, and you don't even feel full. Crazy, right?
Now contrast that with this number, 4. Every gram of protein and every gram of carbohydrates contains just 4 calories. That is less than half the caloric density of fat. So think about what this means. If you're aiming for a certain calorie target, you literally get to eat more than twice the volume of proteins and carbs compared to fats. This is the simple math of volume eating. It's like a cheat code for your plate. And the crucial point here is captured perfectly in this quote from our source material. 10 grams of olive oil can give about 100 calories, but it won't satisfy you. When we load up our salads with heavy dressings or, snack mindlessly on handfuls of nuts, we're consuming what we call empty calories. Not because the food itself lacks nutrients, nuts are great for you, but because the physical volume is just too small to trigger the stretch receptors in our stomach, the ones that tell your brain, hey, I'm full, stop eating. So how do we effectively manage this? Well, take a look at this breakdown for an ideal macro balance geared towards fat loss. Because dietary fats are so dense, we want to manage them carefully, limiting them to a maximum of about 20% of our intake. This ensures we prioritize our highly filling proteins and carbohydrates first. That remaining 80%, that should be distributed between those much less calorie-dense, highly filling options we just talked about. Moving on to section 2, the protein and fiber advantage, building your foundation. First up on the list is protein. And listen, I really want you to stop thinking of protein just as fuel. As this definition shows, it is the literal foundation block of your body. Whether your goal is to build muscle, lose fat, or honestly just maintain a strong, healthy system, protein is totally non-negotiable. It protects your hard-earned muscle mass while you lose weight. And as you'll see in just a minute, it has an unbelievable impact on your metabolic rate. And right alongside protein, we have our co-star, fiber. Now, why do we care so much about fiber? Well, mostly because of the absolute magic it works in your digestive system. See, fiber stays in your stomach for a very, very long time. Your body has to work hard to process it, which dramatically increases your feelings of fullness. It basically puts the brakes on your digestion, giving you this steady, balanced release of long-lasting energy rather than that annoying quick spike and crash. So realistically, you should be aiming for about 25 to 30 grams of fiber every single day. And the best way to hit this target? Just load up on high-fiber vegetables, especially your leafy greens. Fruits are also fantastic for this, along with healthy, complex carbs like brown rice. Actually, getting this right means you can stay incredibly full while naturally managing your calories without even really trying. Okay, section 3, how digestion burns calories, the thermic effect. You guys, the math behind this is incredible. Okay, let's say you consume 30 grams of protein. At 4 calories per gram, that's 120 total calories consumed, right? But here is the secret. Protein is incredibly difficult for your body to break down. Your body actually has to work so hard to digest it that it burns roughly 50 calories just processing that meal. So your net caloric intake, it's only 70 calories. No way, right? It's true. Digesting this protein actually raises your core body temperature. It literally forces your system to consume a massive amount of energy just to process the meal. By simply choosing protein-rich foods, you are naturally, effortlessly boosting your metabolic rate. It's essentially burning calories while you eat. How amazing is that? Which brings us to Section 4, the hand portion method, your built-in measuring cups. We've all been there, right? As the explainer sources point out, you're at a party, maybe a restaurant, or you're traveling, and you just think, ugh, what should I eat? I don't have my app, I don't have my food scale. This is that real-world struggle that derails so many people. But guess what? It doesn't have to anymore. Let's break down this visual hand measurement method. It is just elegantly simple. Essentially, your own hand represents your perfect macronutrient proportions. The size and thickness of your palm, that's your portion of lean protein. Think chicken, eggs, or low-fat cheese. Your closed fist, that indicates your fiber, so your portion of green vegetables. A cupped hand shows your healthy carbohydrate portion, like brown rice or potato. And finally, your thumb represents your fats, things like nuts, seeds, or cooking oils. Easy to remember, right? So, when you look down at an empty plate, here is your step-by-step hierarchy. Step 1, always start by placing a palm-sized portion of protein on the plate. Step 2, add a fist-sized portion of fiber-rich vegetables. Boom! You've now secured your metabolism boost and your satiety. Now that you've prioritized those protein and fiber needs, you manage the rest. Step 3, add a cupped handful of carbs for energy. And step 4, finish with just a thumb of fats for hormone health and flavor. Now, just to establish our core rules here, it's important to clarify that this baseline measurement, so 1 palm, 1 fist, 1 cupped hand, 1 thumb, that represents the ideal balanced plate layout per meal for females. It's a perfect starting point that naturally controls portions based on your unique body size, simply because, well, your hands are proportionate to you. And for the guys watching, it is incredibly easy to adapt. Males generally require more calories and macronutrients, so you just simply double this framework. Your perfect plate layout becomes 2 palms of protein, 2 fists of vegetables, 2 cupped handfuls of carbs, and 2 thumbs of fats. It scales perfectly. The whole shebang is right there in your hands. So let's summarize exactly why this specific layout is so powerful. It works because it forces you to prioritize protein and fiber first, guaranteeing you get that thermic metabolism boost and that you stay full. It naturally manages those high-calorie, density-trap fats without requiring you to obsessively weigh them. It secures all your necessary vitamins from the veggies, and it ensures you get just enough healthy fats for proper hormone production. Honestly, it's total nutritional balance literally right in the palm of your hand. So I'm going to leave you with this question. Are you ready to finally ditch those stressful calorie counting apps? Are you ready to trust the science of your metabolism and let your own hands build your very next metabolic boosting meal? The power to master your plate isn't hiding in your smartphone. It's literally attached to your wrists. Give this a try at your next meal and watch how it transforms your metabolism. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll see you next time.